Welcome everyone to the Ollie Talks Football channel. Today we're going to be discussing the Champions League, which is back. It's back. Champions League football back after a couple of weeks and some incredible results and a couple of groups, or one in particular, that have now been blown open. We've got a lot to talk about. There's half of the games played yesterday. I'm going to start by listing off a couple of the less important games. But before I do, make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel, as well as liking the video and leaving in the comments your thoughts about the games and predictions for tomorrow's game, or tonight, I guess, for me at least. But yeah, so let's go through a few. Porto 2-0 over Antwerp. Let's be honest, Antwerp aren't really getting out of this group. They're in a group with Shakhtar and Porto, as well as Barcelona. Porto and Shakhtar are obviously the two that are fighting for that other spot. If I just have a look at the table, Porto are actually above Barcelona, but Shakhtar are only 3 points behind both of them. So it's really interesting, that group. Obviously, Red Star Belgrade. That is Red Star Belgrade, isn't it? Kverna said, I can't be bothered trying to pronounce that. Losing to Leipzig 2-1. Xavi Simons and Luis Openda. Sorry, his name's not Lewis. Both looking very good. I think from the small amount I watched, I wouldn't say they were lucky to get the win, Leipzig, but there were definitely chances, and Jonas Blaskovic did kind of save them, quite literally. Man City Young Boys. It is what it is. I don't think there's much point talking about it. Lazio 1-0 over Feyenoord. That group is, I'd love to say it's interesting, but if we look at this, it's between three teams now. Now that Celtic got demolished by Atletico Madrid. And let's bring up this real quick. If we go to Atletico Madrid versus Celtic, let's have a look at these statistics, because it was incredible. The attacking momentum is stupid. Put it up on the screen now. Some of the stats. Just as I'm looking through this, Alvaro Morata with 2 goals, Antoine Griezmann with 2 goals, and Samuel Lino and Saul coming off the bench and both getting a goal. Samuel Lino comes off the bench in the 65th minute and gets a 9.1 SofaScore rating. 27 shots to 1. Now, Celtic did have a player sent off, and it was fair enough, because it was poor tackle. Certainly a red card there. 27 shots to 1 in that game, and 6-0 says it all. Dyson Maeda got sent off in that one. It's an interesting game, but we had a couple more really interesting ones. And quickly, Shakhtar beating Barcelona. Like I said, it blows that group open, because now Shakhtar are only 3 points off of Porto and Barcelona. So that group is really heating up. But the games that everyone is caring about are these ones. First of all, Dortmund versus Newcastle. After the weekend result, where Newcastle beat Arsenal, whether they did it themselves or not, I'm not going to go there. But yeah, let's have a look at this real quick. So, XG wise, it was Dortmund, and 17 shots to 10. Look, I think Newcastle this season, have been good at home more than away. So I think this one was coming. I mean, Dortmund have beaten them twice, and I think a lot of people were saying Dortmund would finish bottom of this group. Dortmund would be the one that everyone would get wins against, and maybe at home they might get a couple of wins. But now Dortmund lead this group. Dortmund actually lead this group. If I bring up this here, if we look at this right now, Dortmund are now on top with 2 wins in a row, and PSG and Milan sit below them. And Milan winning their game against PSG, which we'll come to in a second, basically opens up this group. And I think this was one of the best groups, not just because of the fact they're 4 good teams, but you've got Milan, who, they're younger, They brought in some exciting players, and they haven't been. They had a not poor season last season, but pretty sure they only got into the Champions League because Juventus got knocked down because of their sanctions. Newcastle, first time in it for a very long time. PSG, after the departures of Messi and Neymar, people are looking at them to see what they're going to do. And obviously Dortmund, who just missed out on a Bundesliga title last season, who are often... They're good in Europe, they'll get to the round of 16, but they're not good recently. So, very good group. And Dortmund are top of the group after only scoring 3 goals. Dortmund have scored 3 goals, and those 3 have won them 2 games against Newcastle. So this is a really interesting group as the table's got here. Look, PSG are probably still favourites to get out this group and win it. Obviously, PSG do have Dortmund and Newcastle, and they're going to want to beat Newcastle after the last result. But yeah, very, very, very interesting to see. We're going to move on to just quickly talking about the fixtures for tomorrow. Now, let's find it. Those are not even... Alright, so we've got a couple here. So, Napoli, Union Berlin. So, Union Berlin have been terrible in the league. This is going to go to Napoli. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Napoli there. Real Sociedad, Benfica. Sociedad have been very good. Takefusa Kubo, Zubamendi, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, and a few other their players. Oyarzabal is always just like good player. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Real Sociedad. I think they're very good this season, and there's no, it's not a surprise when people like Takefusa Kubo are stepping up. Let's move in. Copenhagen against Man United. Man United having to go away for that game against Copenhagen, who they only narrowly beat. And if they didn't in the last game, it would have been over for them. Look, this is like stealing candy from a baby. I know I'm trying to go off of these like Goldbridge and like analogies. It's like stealing candy from a baby. It can be very easy if you do it well, but if you mess up, there's going to be a lot of people looking at you saying, what are you doing? Because Man United, if they don't win this, the chances of getting out the group are over. They're over. Because they've got 2 tough games after that. Again, Galatasaray away and Bayern at home. And I would be surprised if they won one of those, let alone both. So they have to win that. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Man United though. Bayern 3-1 over Galatasaray. Arsenal, Sevilla. I'm going to go at home. We're going to win 3-0. I think away, Sevilla are so different, but they're going to sit back. I don't think they're going to provide much. And even at home, they didn't until they got that goal into the game. And it'll be good to see Arsenal bounce back. PSV, Lens. I'm actually going to go with a 1-1 there. I think Lens have been quite impressive and PSV haven't. Real Madrid, Braga. 3-0 Real Madrid. Not much to say. Salzburg, Inter. Probably 2-0 to Inter. There. I just realised that's all because Lazio Celtic is the next fixtures. But yeah, those are my predictions. Let me know in the comments below what are your predictions and maybe some rogue shouts for who's going to win some games tomorrow. And after the games tomorrow, tonight, whenever you're seeing this, we'll get a good idea of who is going to be progressing out of the group stages. So like I said, leave your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like the video if you did like it. If you've got to this point, also comment UCL if you've got to this point, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be here tomorrow discussing the results from these Champions League games that I've just predicted. That's going to be all for today. A lot of Champions League fixtures to get through, a lot of big results, and that group of death is looking very, very interesting.